So today we are reading from Canto 4, chapter 19, titled King Pruthu's 100 Horse Sacrifice. So the verse is 36, but from 1 to 42 onwards is just, we're going to read the translations. So one by one, right?
The great sage Maitreya continued, My dear Vidura, King Pruthu initiated the performance of 100 horse sacrifices at the spot where the river Saraswati flows towards the east. This piece of land is known as Brahmavarta and it was controlled by Swayambhuva Manu.
Text 2. With the most powerful Indra, the king of heaven, saw this, he considered the fact that King Prithu was going to exceed him in fruitive activities. Thus, Indra could not tolerate the great sacrificial ceremonies performed by King Prithu.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, is present in everyone's heart as a super soul, and he is the proprietor of all planets and the enjoyer of the results of all sacrifices. He was personally present at the sacrifices made by King Prithu.
When Lord Vishnu appeared in the sacrificial arena, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and all the chief predominating personalities of every planet, as well as their followers, came with him. When he appeared on the scene, the residents of Gandharva Loka, the great sages, and the residents of Apsar Loka all praised him.
The Lord was accompanied by the residents of Siddhaloka and Vidyadhara Loka, all the descendants of Diti, and the demons and the Yakshas. He was also accompanied by his chief associates, headed by Sunanda and Nanda.
Great devotees who were always engaged in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as well as the great sages named Kapila, Narada, and Dattatreya, and masters of mystic powers, headed by Sanaka Kumara, all attended with great sacrifice with Lord Vishnu.
My dear Vidura, in that great sacrifice, the entire land came to be like the milk-producing Kamalakanta, and thus, by the performance of yajna, all daily necessities for life were supplied.
The flowing rivers supplied all kinds of teas, sweet pungent, sour, etc. And very big trees supplied fruit and honey in abundance. The cows, having eaten sufficient green grass, supplied profuse quantities of milk, curd, clarified butter, and similar other necessities.
King Prithu was presented with various gifts from the general populace and predominating deities of all planets. The oceans and seas were full of valuable jewels and pearls, and the hills were full of chemicals and fertilizers. 4 kinds of edibles were produced profusely.
King Prithu was dependent on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is known as Adokshak. Because King Prithu performed so many sacrifices, he was superhumanly enhanced by the mercy of the Supreme Lord. King Prithu's opulence, however, could not be tolerated by the King of Heaven, Indra, who tried to impede thanks, the progress of his opulence.
When Prithu Maharaja was performing the last horse sacrifice, Ashwamedha Yajna, King Indra invisible to everyone stole the horse intended for sacrificing. He did this because of his great envy of King Prithu.
When King Indra was taking away the horse, he dressed himself to appear as a liquid person. Actually, this dress was a form of cheating, for it falsely created an impression of religion. When Indra went into outer space in his way, the great sage Atri saw him and understood the whole situation.
When the son of King Prithu was informed by Atri of King Indra's streak, he immediately became very angry and followed Indra to kill him, calling, wait.
King Indra was fraudulently dressed as a sannyasi, having knotted his cape on his head and smeared ashes all over his body. Upon seeing such dress, the son of King Prithu considered Indra a religious man and a pious sannyasi. Therefore, he did not release his arrows.
When Atri Muni saw the son of King Prithu did not kill Indra, but returned decided by him. Atri Muni again instructed him to kill the heavenly king because he thought that Indra had become the lowest of all demigods due to his impediment to execute the King Prithu's sacrifice.
Being thus informed, the grandson of King Venus immediately began to follow Indra, who was flying through the sky in a great cage. He was very angry with him, and he chased him just as the king of vultures chased Ravana.
When Indra saw that the son of Prithu was chasing him, he immediately abandoned his false dress and left the horse. Indeed, he disappeared from that very spot, and the great hero, the son of Maharaj Prithu, returned the horse to his father's sacrificial arena.
My dear Lord Vidura, when the great sages observed the wonderful prowess of the son of King Prithu, they all agreed to give him the name Vijayasva.
My dear Vidura, Indra, being the king of heaven and very powerful, immediately brought a dense darkness upon the sacrificial arena, covering the whole scene in this way. He again took away the horse, which was chained with golden shackles near the wooden instrument where animals were sacrificed.
The great sage Atri again pointed out to the son of King Prithu that Indra was fleeing through the sky. The great hero, the son of Prithu, chased him again. But when he saw that Indra was carrying in his hand a staff with a skull at the top and was again wearing the dress of a sannyasi, he still chose not to kill him.
The great sage Atri again gave directions. The son of King Prithu became very angry and placed an arrow on his bow. Upon seeing this, King Indra immediately abandoned the false dress of a sannyasi and, giving up the horse, made himself invisible.
Then the great hero Vijayasva, the son of King Prithu, again took the horse and returned to his father's sacrificial arena. Since that time, certain men with a poor fund of knowledge have adopted the dress of a false sannyasi. It was King Indra who introduced this.
Whatever different forms Indra assumed as a mendicant because of his desire to seize the horse were symbols of atheistic philosophy.
In this way, King Indra, in order to steal the horse from King Prithu's sacrifice, adopted several orders of sannyas. Some sannyasis go naked, and sometimes they wear red garments and pass under the name of kapilika. These are simply symbolic representations of their sinful activities. These so-called sannyasis are very much appreciated by sinful men because they are all godless atheists and very expert in putting forward arguments and reasons to support their case. We must know, however, that they are only passing as adherents of religion and are not so in fact. Unfortunately, bewildered persons accept them as religious, and being attracted to them, they spoil their life.
Maharaj Prithu, who was celebrated as very powerful, immediately took up his bow and arrows and prepared to kill Indra himself, because Indra had introduced such irregular sannyas orders.
When the priests and all the others saw Maharaj Prithu very angry and prepared to kill Indra, they requested him, "O great soul, do not kill him, for only sacrificial animals can be killed in a sacrifice." Such are the directions given by Shastra.
Dear King, Indra's powers are already reduced due to his attempt to impede the execution of your sacrifice. We shall call him by Vedic mantras which were never before used, and certainly he will come. Thus, by the power of our mantra, we shall cast him into the fire because he is your enemy.
My dear Vidura, after giving the king this advice, the priests who had been engaged in performing the sacrifice called for Indra, the king of heaven, in a mood of great anger. When they were just ready to put the oblation into the fire, Lord Brahma appeared on the scene and forbade them to start the sacrifice.
Lord Brahma addressed them thus: "My dear sacrificial performers, you cannot kill Indra, king of heaven. It is not your duty. You should know that Indra is as good as Supreme Personality of God. Indeed, he is one of the most powerful aspects of the Personality of God. You are trying to satisfy all the demigods and the performance of this level. But you should know that all these demigods are but parts and parcels of Indra, the king of heaven. How then can you kill him in this great sacrifice?"
In order to make trouble and impede the performance of King Prithu's great sacrifice, King Indra has adopted some means that in the future will destroy the clear path of religious life. I draw your attention to this fact. If you oppose him any further, he will further misuse his power and introduce many other religious systems.
Let there be only 99 sacrificial performance of Maharaj Prithu. Lord Brahma concluded. Lord Brahma then turned towards Maharaj Prithu and informed him that since he was thoroughly aware of the path of liberation, what was the use in performing more sacrifices?
Lord Brahma continued, "Let there be good fortune to both of you, for you and King Indra are both part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, you should not be angry with King Indra, who is no different from you."
My dear king, do not be agitated and anxious because your sacrifices have not been properly executed due to providential impediments. Kindly take my words with a great respect. We should always remember that if something happens by providential arrangement, we should not be very sorry. The more we try to rectify such reversals, the more we enter into the darkest reason of materialistic thought.
Lord Brahma continued, "Stop the performance of these sacrifices, for they have induced Indra to introduce so many irreligious aspects. You should know very well that even amongst the demigods there are many unwanted desires."
Just see how Indra, the king of heaven, was creating a disturbance in the midst of the sacrifice by stealing the sacrificial horse. These attractive sinful activities he has introduced will be carried out by the people in general.
O King Prithu, son of Vena, you are the part and parcel expansion of Lord Vishnu. Due to the mischievous activities of King Vena, religious principles were almost lost. At that opportune moment, you descended as the incarnation of Lord Vishnu. Indeed, for the production of religious principles, you have appeared from the body of King Vena.
O protector of the people in general, please consider the purpose of your being incarnated by Lord Vishnu. The irreligious principles created by Indra are but mothers of so many unwanted religions. Please therefore stop this imitation immediately.
The great sage Maitreya continued. When King Prithu was thus advised by the supreme teacher, Lord Brahma, he abandoned his eagerness to perform yajnas and with great affection concluded a peace with King Indra.
After this, Prithu Maharaj took his bath, which is customarily taken after the performance of a yajna, and received the benedictions and due blessings of the demigod, who were very pleased by his glorious activities.
With great respect, the original King Prithu offered all kinds of rewards to the Brahmanas present at the sacrifice. Since all these Brahmanas were very much satisfied, they gave their heartfelt blessings to the king.
All the great sages and Brahmanas said, O mighty king, by your invitation, all classes of living entities have attended this assembly. They have come from Pipiloka and the heavenly planets, and great sages, as well as common men, have attended this meeting. Now, all of them are very much satisfied by your dealings and your charity towards them.
Thank you. We can now recite the text 36, the Sanskrit. Ivir Indro Paksham Shristha Pakhandir Haribirjanam Hirayanam Vikhasa Vinam Yaste Yagdruk Asvamud
Avil Indra Pasamrastaha
Pakhandir Haribirjanam
Hriyamanam Vicharam Vainam
Yaste yagyadrung asvamo
Abhir Indro Pasam Shritayih
Pakhandir Hari Birjanam
Hiryamanam Vichakshinam
Yaste yajnatruk ashvamo
Evirindropa samshrishtai
Vakhandir haribirtana
Hriyamanam Vichaksvenam
Yaste yagyadrugasvamot Evirindropa samshriste
Pakhandar Habijanam
Hiryamanam Vichakshavainam
Yaste Yagnadruk Astvaman
Virindropa यद् यत् आसति श्रेष्ठस् तत्तत् एव तरो जना sayat pramanam kurute lokastad anvartate. Whatever action is performed by a great man, common men follow in his footsteps, and whatever standards he set by exemplary acts all over the world pursues. For his own sense gratification, King Indra thought to defeat Maharaj Prithu in the performance of 100 horse sacrifices. Consequently, he stole the horse and hid himself amid so many irreligious personalities, taking on the false guise of a sannyasi. Such activities are attractive to the people in general, therefore they are dangerous. Lord Brahma thought that instead of allowing Indra to further introduce such religious systems, it would be better to stop the sacrifice. A similar stance was taken by Lord Buddha when people were overly engrossed in the animal sacrifices recommended by Vedic instructions. Lord Buddha had to introduce the religion of non-violence by contradicting the Vedic sacrificial instructions. Actually, in the sacrifices, the slaughtered animals were given a new life, but people without such powers were taking advantage of such Vedic rituals and unnecessarily killing poor animals. Therefore, Lord Buddha had to deny the authority of the Vedas for the time being. One should not perform sacrifices that will induce reversed orders. It is better to stop such sacrifices. As we have evidently explained, due to a lack of qualified Brahminical priests in Kali Yuga, it is not possible to perform the ritualistic ceremonies recommended in the Vedas. Consequently, the Shastras instruct us to perform the Sankirtan Yajna. By the Sankirtan sacrifice, the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his form of Lord Chaitanya will be satisfied and worshipped. The entire purpose of performing sacrifices is to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu. Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna is present in his form of Lord Chaitanya. Therefore, people who are intelligent should try to satisfy him by performing Sankirtan Yajna. This is the easiest way to satisfy Lord Vishnu in this age. People should take advantage of the injunctions in different Shastras concerning sacrifices in this age and not create unnecessary disturbances during the sinful age of Kali. In Kali Yuga, men all over the world are very expert in opening slaughterhouses for killing animals which they eat. If the old ritualistic ceremonies were observed, people would be encouraged to kill more and more animals. In Calcutta, there are many butcher shops which keep a deity of the goddess Kali, and animal eaters think it proper to purchase animal flesh from such shops in hope that they are eating the remnants of food offered to goddess Kali. They do not know that goddess Kali never accepts non-vegetarian food because she is the chaste wife of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is also a great Vaishnava and never eats non-vegetarian food. And the goddess Kali accepts the remnants of the food left by Lord Shiva. Therefore, there is no possibility of her eating flesh or fish. Such offerings are accepted by the associates of the goddess Kali, known as Bhutas, Pishachas, and Rakshas. And those who take the prasad of goddess Kali in the shape of flesh or fish are not actually taking the prasad left by the goddess Kali, but the food left by the Bhutas and Pishachas.
Right. Thank you, Prabhu. So far, what you think, the one thing which is more prominent, I realize in this verses, is can anybody get deep into it and see what exactly you feel? There's one of the narthas.
Performing any kind of sacrifice without really knowing the aim of satisfying Krishna, just performing for the sake of some material gains.
Yeah, that's one of them. Yes. Anybody else?
Maybe kind of dishonesty because people fool themselves.
Yes. Yes, Prabhu?
Whenever the great people do some activities, some general people follow them.
Yes. So everybody is right. So one thing I found came out prominent was envy. Indra was very envious because he was the only one who had done the 100 horse sacrifices. So it's pretty natural and it's human tendency to be envious. We all have that tendency. We all have that anartha, and that's where like many leaders of they have that too, but they deny it, but they know it's there. And that's why to conquer something, they use that envy and they don't follow the scriptures properly and they try to do sacrifices, or not even sacrifices, to lead people in a proper way. Because their motive is just to satisfy their sense gratification, and their motive is just to be happy for themselves. There is not much they want to do for others. But as the Shastra says, a king, especially kings, are supposed to be the one who satisfy the needs of the others. That's why Krishna gives the kings so much opulence, so much wealth, so that they can help the needy people. It's not like it's just for their own sense gratification. So Prithu Maharaj is in a bit of conundrum because he, as you see in the previous verse in the previous chapters, but Mother Earth was not giving any grains. And Prithu Maharaj was angry. He's like, why are you not giving any grains? And he was so angry that he actually removed his bow and tried to kill the earth. And the earth took the shape of a cow and tried to flee. But eventually they got up and Mother Earth said, because all the grains that I'm producing are for people using it for sense gratification. They are not offering to Lord Krishna. That's why I don't feel like I can do that anymore. So you can see how Mother Earth is feeling. So that's why there's one verse in Bhagavad Gita, when you can tell which talks about where Krishna is saying, I'm the beneficiary of all the sacrifices. I'm the friend of everyone. Do you even know which verse is that? Yes, Prabhu. Yes, thank you. So that verse says that Krishna is saying, I am the beneficiary of all the sacrifices. So why are you not doing it? Same thing when the villagers in Vrindavan, they were doing sacrifice, they were getting ready to sacrifice for Lord Indra or Lord Krishna. He said, why are you offering to Indra? Why are you doing it to him? You have to do it to the proper source, that is Lord Krishna. So that's why he started the sacrificing and offering to Govardhan Hill. That's why we have this Govardhan Hill festival. So that's why Krishna is always telling us what is the proper way of sacrificing. Even in the simplest way, I know we are not well versed with the Shastras or how to do animal sacrifice with mantras. In the Kali Yuga, people don't have that knowledge. So even if you don't have to do that, just simple offering, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, is like Pattar Pusham Palmakoyam. Even if you offer that small fruit or flower or water, I'm happy. He's not asking give me a lot of things, give me a house, give me a this. That all comes from Krishna's own mercy. But we have to understand how Krishna is always guiding us. This is the proper way of doing sacrifice. That's why nowadays, in Kali Yuga, Sankirtan Yajna is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu brought, because we are not trained to do proper yajnas. And I don't know if you know about a couple of years ago in Nepal, they did sacrifices for the cows. There were thousands of cows were killed just in the name of Goddess Kali. And what was the result of that? The next day, very next day, there was a huge earthquake in Nepal, and many people were killed and many people got damages. That shows that you are doing sacrifices out of context of the Shastras, and you're trying to just please your sense gratification. Just because you offer it to Kali, you can eat meat. No. Kali, it says Kali doesn't eat meat. Goddess Kali doesn't eat meat. She's wife of Lord Shiva. So that's why we are so concluded, we are so polluted, and we have what are the 4 defects of human beings? Anybody know the 4 defects that we have that's mentioned in the Shastras? So the 4 defects that we have is imperfect senses, illusion, we are illusioned, we cheat and we get cheated. Those are 4 defects of human beings. So with these 4 defects, how we can do sacrifices properly? We cheat and we get cheated. That's how it is. That's law of karma. If you're going to cheat somebody, you're going to get cheated, and eventually you're going to get cheated. So that's why Krishna is saying, we have to follow the Shastras in a proper way of doing sacrifices. Even Lord Buddha had to come, and even he's Lord incarnation of Lord Krishna, but he had to go against the Vedic culture because people were killing in the name of God, in the name of God, and he had to come up with the non-violence, and that's where Lord Buddha started that. So we have to understand how much we are in our sense gratification. For our own sense gratification, we will do anything. We will cheat people, we will steal, we will kill people, we will do anything what we can just to gratify our senses. And Shastra says that we have to control our senses. I know it's not easy said and done, okay, you said it and the next day you start controlling your senses. It's not easy. So there is ways here Shastras are given how to do that, how to meditate on the Maha Mantra, how to meditate your mind with the knowledge of Shastras. Because right now we don't have proper knowledge. We are very lucky, like Srila Prabhupada came and he did this ISKCON movement for us so that we can have this knowledge. And we all know he wasn't bogus. He was a genuine spiritual master. He was a genuine representation of Lord Krishna. He was Saptajish Avatar. And he did everything to the book. He translated books. And he even said these words are not my words. These words are Krishna's words. I'm just a translator. So that humble he was. And before him, there were many gurus who came also to the West, but they were not successful. They tried, but they were not successful because their motive was different. But Srila Prabhupada's motive was to spread Krishna consciousness far and wide and give everybody the taste of Krishna, the prema of Krishna. So we as the members of the Hare Krishna movement, we have to have the mentality how we are going to do that. We could be leaders. You all are sitting here and sometime you're going to be leaders of this movement. So you're going to be the followers. You're going to have followers, you're going to have people, you're going to teach, you're going to preach. So we have to focus on the Shastras to understand how we have to preach this movement to everybody. Because if you don't do this, and Kali Yuga is as Kali Yuga advances, it's going to get worse and worse. And I think it's in 10th canto, it shows how degrading Kali Yuga is going to get. And we have just passed only close to 5,000 years in Kali Yuga. There's more 400,000 years of Kali Yuga left. So you can imagine, right now itself, you can see how worse it is. How much of hatred we have, how much of people don't like each other. Nowadays, everything you open, you see that somebody's stealing this, somebody steal that. Last time I heard a woman came to a church with a machine gun and started killing people. Can you imagine how bad the situation is getting? Nowadays, you can just buy guns in Walmart and go to US. It's like, what's going on? Like, this is not the way humans should live. Human beings are given the opportunity to revive our consciousness and be a good person. Even if you don't want to be Krishna conscious, it's fine, but be a good person. Have that more of goodness. Then Krishna will give you the knowledge that required for you to come closer to the God consciousness, to understand like what is your purpose of being in this material world. The overall reason that we all are here is because of our sense gratification. Because we want to lord over the material nature. We want to control, we want to be the controller. And that's what the leaders nowadays do. They feel like they're the control. They get the votes, they get the money, and they feel that they're controllers. But they don't know, like, you're very insignificant. Anything can happen to you. We all are insignificant. We have to have a tendency of understanding, like, we are part and parcel of Krishna. We are. It's just like how we channel ourselves, how we think, and how we associate with people will make us realize like how potent it is to be in association with devotees. And then that will help us to grow more deeper in our Krishna consciousness. That's how like I feel like whenever I read or prepare for the class, I feel like there is so much knowledge in the Shastras, I feel like I don't know anything. It's so much so depth. But that's why like, I purposely like, do classes so that I will read. It's not like, I'm doing because I like the class, I'm doing because of my own purification, because I'm not good with reading. I try to read, but I fall asleep. But when I know I have to give class, I become conscious. I have to give class, like I don't have to read, I have to get knowledge. So that helps me to prepare myself, like to read and try to like cross the reference and see what this means, what that means. So that's how we have to, eventually start doing that. It's not like, you will come to a level where you're fully learned and then only give classes. You don't have to do that. You can start giving classes when you take help of others. When I was just in class, I had no clue how to give classes. So I can give you a website which will help you. I use that website for the classes. It's called srimadbhagavatamclass.com. If you go in that, you will get all the audio classes of all the entire Srimad Bhagavatam, even Bhagavad Gita also. And it really helps me to get to that and listen to classes from other gurus, other leaders in the movement. So use that as a tool that will help you to, get to know how to give classes. It will help you to get more deep into the Shastras. So to conclude, like I would say, envy is something that's very difficult for us to overcome. And envy is the only reason that we are here in this material world, because we want to be envious of Krishna. Krishna has so much opulence in spiritual world, but we are envious of that, and we wanted to try that same opulence, and that's why we are here. But long and behold, we didn't knew how it's going to be, and that's why there's one text in the Bhagavad Gita, which, this is from 3:27. Prakritya kremani guna karmani sarvasaha ahamkara vidu atma kartaham iti manyate. The spirit soul is bewildered by the influence of false ego, thinks himself the doer of activities. He thinks he's doing his own activities. That is actually carried out by the three modes of material nature. So we are always going to be attacked by the three modes of material nature. We're always going to we want to have that goodness, passion, and ignorance. It's always all around us. We have to be in a mode of goodness. Everything we have to do in mode of goodness, study, talk to devotees, do our service in mode of goodness, and eventually we will reach the level where we are coming to the level of pure consciousness, where we are just thinking about Krishna, no one else. We're just thinking about how to please Krishna. That's the ultimate goal of us. And that's why we do sacrifices, because we want to please Lord Vishnu. That's the reason of doing sacrifices. It's difficult for us to do it because we don't know the mantras, but the easy mantra for us to do is the Hare Krishna mantra. We do that, and that's it. We are doing the sacrifice. Sankirtan Yajna. So, if anybody has any questions, this will.
So, Prabhu, as we discussed about something related to the animal sacrifices too. So, I would like to know, like, the people who is eating non-veg until like end of the life. Okay. So, is there any chance for them to go to God's abode, or like they are completely like will be in mode of passion, or like how exactly is it?
Well, then it's a cycle. Like, you go back through the whole cycle of. So once you get the human life, but if you live like an animal and eat animals, you're going to go back in a circle of life, birth cycle. So you're going to go back to starting from a worm or stool, and then coming from the different species, going through that, and then reaching to the level where you become a living human. So you have to get the human form again. So even if somebody is eating meat in this life, it's not like in the next life he might get a body of a human, but it might be more in a miserable position. It will be in a more miserable position. That is like Lord is giving the person another opportunity. Like, you can revive your consciousness. But it's difficult for him to do that because he is such a more lower position. Like, he's more in a mode of passion and ignorance. So it will take him more time, that soul will take more time for come to the consciousness of goodness. There is opportunity, there is there, but it will take longer time.
Okay, for example, in this life, is a part of the eating non-veg is gentleman. He's like 100% good with each and everything. He's more sattvic. In that case also, he will not get a bone.
So even if he's eating meat, but he has more of goodness, you're saying, and he is well-to-do. So so he will get. As the same way, he will get another body which will have that karma. He will get a human body, but he will get the karma of that as well. He's going to carry the karma of killing that animal, and he will be killed in some other way. So if you kill animal, if you eat animal, you will get even if you get the human life, but you will still have to get the karma with it. So that's where, of course we don't remember, what we did in the past life, what did I eat, what did I kill, we don't remember that. But that's where we have to come to the goal mode of goodness. You get the opportunity, it's just Krishna is there in your heart. It's just a matter of how you perceive and how you develop yourself. And then that's how slowly you will get to the level of good consciousness.
Yeah, a continuation question. It's different. As we covered the topic of the people will follow the great personalities. So I knew a lot of people who take the impression of Lord Shiva, that Lord Shiva smokes cotton. So people like to have that as a reason and having this. If Lord Shiva is such a great personality, like in this case we are following Lord Indra, and so many bogus sannyasis came in that way. People like Lord Shiva don't how can he say this? So many people they follow Lord Shiva. How he's smoking ganja? He knows that he's great personality and his influence will have to the other people.
So Lord Shiva is a great, he's a great Vaishnava. First of all, he's a great devotee of Lord Krishna. So he is given a position of where he's a destroyer. And he is in a position where he is influencing the people who are in that mode of ignorance. So that's why if you see he's always has ashes all over his body, he has a snake around his neck. And the reason why he takes ganja, because he drank the portion of poison. And that's why, like, that helps his throat. That's why he does that. So if people want to have, oh, Lord Shiva is having ganja, I should have ganja, they say, can you drink a glass of poison? Then he can do it. No, but he drank a whole ocean of poison. So that's the reason he's doing that. It's not like, he has to do it just because he likes doing it. So his mode is to help people who are in that mode of ignorance. That's why he has that kind of appearance. And that's what and also he's also called Ashutosh. Ashutosh means he is very merciful. And that's why many people in India worship Lord Shiva, because he is very merciful. And he gives your material desires very fast. That's the reason also we worship. Anything else? He has a question for us.
So Prabhu, like Prabhupada used to say, normally stress is bad, but if you take stress for Krishna, it is good, right? So envy is the theme of today's class. So envy is very bad for material things, but if we have spiritual envy, so for example, when I see younger kids, chanting diligently, following 4 regulative principles, eating only prasadam, sometimes I don't feel envious, but I feel, oh, maybe I'm here for so many years, but what am I doing? So is that kind of envy also bad?
No, actually there was an incident where Prabhupada was asked by one of his devotees, I envy this devotee, I have the envious and I don't like him. Prabhupada said, it's good, you have the envy, that is a transcendental envy. This transcendental envy, this spiritual envy actually will help you to advance in your Krishna consciousness. Because it's not material. Because you're getting that enviousness from looking at other devotees. Because Krishna is in your heart is saying, look at that devotee, how much he or she's doing. So you have to have that tendency of doing that too. So that comes out in a mode of envious. But of course you have to be very careful also, like you don't want to make that envious into a jealousy and into then becomes like an anger. So you have to control that. You have to speak to devotees, get association, say I have this kind of envious feeling towards the other devotee. So what you can do is, if you have good relation or you can build relation with that devotee, say, hey, I like the way you chant, can I chant with you? Can I do service with you? So that way, you are taking the endeavor of getting that, that envy out of it and then getting more association. Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. I have a follow-up question to Prabhu's first question. Let's say a person is doing all the mundane things throughout his life. He's eating non-veg, doing intoxications. And at the time of that, like for example, some devotees met him and he was about to die and they started doing Sankirtan and that reminded him of Krishna at the time of that. Will he still fall down or he will be liberated?
So he won't be liberated, he will get an opportunity to be born in a family which might be like a Brahmana family, or it might be a family which very pious family, or family which doesn't eat meat. So that will give the opportunity of that soul to go to that next body. So even if in the very years of his life he does that too, there's an example of Ajamil. Ajamil was one of the examples, he was not a pious person, but at the end, when he was about to die, when the Yamdutas came, he called his son Narayan. And Narayan, when he called, and then Amdutas went away because he took the name of Lord Narayan. So yeah, it is possible to happen. It's just that you have to go through the cycle. Even if you do something good at the end of your life, even if you take the whole life, you've been a very bad person, envious, jealous, eating meat, not liking anybody, but still at the end, you got little bit of association of devotees and you chanted Hare Krishna, that itself will give you opportunity for that soul to born into a family which will give that soul continuation of that from there. So that's what in Bhagavad Gita also says, that you start your spiritual spiritual life from where you have stopped. So that was his beginning of that one Hare Krishna. So that's the beginning he started. Now he's going to come back and continue from there. So you never. So that's the potency of Mahamantra, of the association devotees, that you never lose that account. It is a bank balance, with spiritual bank balance. You will continue with that. Yes.
Thank you. I remember today morning before coming here, I was here in a class, and it was a pastime. We did the Rumna Swami. It was in Sankirtan, and they stopped to have a lunch, a group of brahmacharis, and one grass creeper jumped in his leg. And he remembered Srila Prabhupada saying, well, what should we do with these souls that they don't have opportunity to chant or have some purification? And Srila Prabhupada said, you should chant louder, because even the inanimate things can get purified with the chanting of the Mahamantra. So, in connection with the birds, you can say, like Srila Prabhupada, it was the great person who came to America and inspired just by example, not even by words, because he was just sitting in the park chanting Hare Krishna, and many devotees, or many people who doesn't have any idea about Krishna consciousness came to him, attracted by his purity, and stop eating meat or anything and start purifying. Obviously, the purification process is like the fan. You turn off the fan, but it still is running. So still you will have reactions for these past activities. That's why some devotees get some bad things happen, because it's not going to stop right away, it's going to continue. But Srila Prabhupada was saying, well, just chant and chant louder. So in Radhuna Swami get the grass creeper and say, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Now you will be Garuda Das. and then say, we have the great opportunity, the great advantage of the devotees is like wherever we're going, we should chant Hare Krishna louder, because because we are covering this material world, something little is gonna stuck in your mind, and then slowly people we gonna wake, like Jeep Jag wake up sleeping soul. So there's the benefit.
Thank you for sharing. Anybody else? Any questions? Corrections? She has a question.
No, more like, I remember there's a story about Krishna being offered banana peels, but I'm so bad at telling stories. Can anybody share that story? Where Krishna is offered banana peels?
Yes, Vidura. Yeah. So when Krishna went to... Please.
When Krishna had gone to Vidura's house, Vidurani she was so ecstatic to see Krishna that instead of giving him the banana, she gave him the banana peel to him, and Krishna loved him. So ate the banana peel.
Because they were offered with so much love, right?
Yeah.
And before he rejected that extravagant feast because it was not made with love. And then he was so happy about the banana peels. I think that's so sweet.
Hare Krishna.